Welcome to my bookshelf. As many of you know, I have just recently moved and I had a bunch of boxes of books in my garage, which I would occasionally take out boxes and review. And I have more boxes. It's never ending. But I have some bookshelves set up and it looks pretty pathetic. So I thought I would open up a couple of, actually a bag and a box of books and put them on the shelf. I don't know if they're going to stay there, but at least we'll get this looking a little more filled in. Who am I? I am the BookTube Goddess, the #1 drag queen booktuber on YouTube. So first up, we have this bag. And I know it's filled with books, as you can see. So let's just start pulling out books, see what we get. We have a Steve Perry book, The Albino Knife. Now, this book, or Steve Perry, does these sort of adventure Doc Savage type novels. So they're not terribly deep, but they can be a lot of fun. So let's put it right here. Next we have, oh my goodness. Signed by the author. It's a Jacqueline Carey book, Q Shields Justice. Let me get you up a little closer. It is a signed copy that I got from Stacy's bookstore. If you want to know Jacqueline Carey's signature. That is it right there. If you don't know about Kushel's books, they are sort of inspired in its French background, and it is almost erotica, delving into BDSM and other things. I love this series. Writing is gorgeous, cannot recommend it enough, and I can't believe I have a signed copy. I'll put this one right here. And we have, oh dear, David Eddings, Diamond Throne, book 1 of the Elenium. I've done a whole video on David Eddings, and he is problematic to say the least, but I mean, I don't not recommend his books. It's not like he's alive anymore that he's profiting off of it, but take that for what you will. And we have a Stephen R. Donaldson, A Dark and Hungry God Arises. I'm pretty sure I've recommended this book several times. It's the Gap into Knowledge space opera based on Wagner's opera. So it is very tough to read if you have any sort of triggering issues, because there are a lot of them. But I think this is an excellent series. I actually like it more than the Thomas Covenant Chronicles, which are also problematic. But I should warn you, though, this is a very, very dark story. And we have, Sean Russell, The Isle of Battle. I don't remember this book at all. We have a receipt. This cost me $11.33. No, that's a change. I was going to say that's a lot. It's cost me $8.57. I wish I could tell you more, but I have a copy. And one of my favorite authors of all time, Robin Hobb, Shaman's Crossing, book 1 of the Soldier 7 series. This is not in her Elderlings universe, but I think it is so fascinating because the main character is so unusual. The premise of the magic system is, in order to gain magical powers, you have to eat a lot. You have to consume a lot. And so all the magic users are morbidly obese. So you don't find a main character very often that is overweight, much less morbidly obese. And at least for me, it really made me think about what is a hero or a perception of a hero. And there's a lot of layers to this series. It's a 3-book series. Highly recommend. And we have another Sean Russell novel. And I believe this is a part of the series that I don't recall reading. Maybe I should reread it. What do you think? And we have Wild Seed by Octavia Butler. Must read for anyone who is into classic science fiction or any science fiction. Catherine Kurtz, The Adept. Sort of a classic author. I don't remember this novel in particular. Oh, I like the opening jacket. Let me get you closer. Sarah Douglas, The Crippled Angels, book 3 of the Crucible series. I don't recall this one. This isn't my favorite Sarah Douglas novels. I highly recommend her Troy Game series. Excellent author. This is unusual for me. It's a Ann Tyler book, A Slipping Down Life. This was recommended to me by someone. Very thin novel. Ann Tyler is the author of The Accidental Tourist, which became a movie. I think they did a movie of this that didn't do very well as well. It's about a girl who is kind of overweight and unpopular, that type of thing. She's kind of nerdy, and she falls in lust with a local musician that plays at a local bar. And when he's playing, she goes in the bathroom and she carves his name on her forehead. And the musician is so awestruck that anyone would do that they begin a very strange relationship. And if you've read any Ann Tyler, I think you will know this is more about relationships than a strong plot. And I do recommend this one. We have something called Canary by Nathan Aldyne. Don't remember anything about this. It is apparently a mystery of some sort. I don't remember reading this at all. Oh, the detective in this is a gay man. Someone probably just gave this to me. I don't even think I read this, but Canary. And we have Magic the Gathering novel called The Arena. Do not recommend this. I do not recommend this. I was really into Magic the Gathering when it first came out, the card game, and then I would pick up a novelization. Not very good. I don't even recognize its author, William R. Forstchen. I don't know. It's really hit or miss with these types of adaptations because they really do crank them out with that much consideration of quality. But no. We have Cry Gender by Thomas Thomas. I remember this cover, and I remember getting it because the sort of gender bending premise of it, and I recall that I did not like this at all. I thought it was a terrible, terrible book. The Far Kingdoms by Ellen Cole and Chris Bunch. Oh, I love this series. If you are ever looking just for a good old-fashioned fantasy, pick up The Far Kingdoms. And there is another series that they did after this with a lesbian main character that is awesome. Oh, this is my copy of The Female Man by Joanna Russ. I'll recommend this many, many times. This is one of the more older covers. If you don't know, this is sort of the feminist science fiction novel of the 70s. And it came right in the height of the women's liberation movement. And it's very trippy, sort of 4 alternate realities. and each reality has some version of the same person, kind of, sort of, and they all meet. One's from one is the name of the author, Joanna, which is contemporary America. One is from America where World War II didn't happen, so women never joined the workforce. And there's one sort of utopian society that is all female. And then there is a world where the male and female genders are at war with each other. Very thought-provoking, and I think it's a must-read if you're into science fiction. We have Margaret Weiss's King Sacrifice, Guardians of the Galaxy? No, Star of the Guardians, that's it. I remember this because they have a type of sword. This is just plain old fun space opera. But they have a sword that looks like a lightsaber, but it's not really a lightsaber. It's this hilt that you clench and it pokes you and it reads your DNA. And if your DNA is appropriate, it lights up. Well, it is a lightsaber, but a lot of fun. Next we have, a Mercedes Lackey's Bardic Voices. If you don't know, I used to be a big Mercedes Lackey fan. I think she's one of those authors where I just read so much. I kind of burnt myself out on her writing, but she is very prolific. Sherry S. Tepper, Grass. I feel like I should remember what this is about, but I don't recall. I do not recall. She's the author of The Gate to Women's Country, Beauty, Radiant Stones. I feel like I should know more about her. The name is so familiar, and I don't remember this book. We have, The Warrior Returns. This is just by Alan Cole. I believe this is after Chris Bunch died. Remember, there's a co-authors of the Far Kingdoms, excuse me, which I just showed you, as well as that lesbian adventure I was telling you about. This is the lesbian adventurer's sort of final voyage, or book 3 of a trilogy, maybe. But the first novel in the lesbian story is The Warrior's Tale. That is one I strongly recommend. Next up is Sarah Ashe, Prisoner of the Iron Tower. This is a fantasy novel. I don't remember specifics, but I do remember that I could not wait for the sequels to come out. So I guess that tells you something. This is book 2 of the Tears of Artaman. David Brin, Startide Rising. David Brin, I think, is a must-read science fiction. His alien races are just so unique and interesting. This is part of the Uplift Wars, I believe, where sort of the goal of sentient races that make it into space is to uplift other creatures to sentience. And one of the first creatures that Earth uplifted were dolphins, which is why we have dolphins here. And we have dolphin spacemen, I believe, in this novel. So if you're into science fiction, you really should check these out. And I think everyone knows what Mistborn is. Here's my copy, The Final Empire. Another Mercedes Lackey, Jinx High. I do remember this one because instead of a normal fantasy novel that she is known for, Jinx High is a contemporary fantasy about a witch going to high school. And our final book in this bag, oh dear, it's a Shadowrun book, Find Your Own Truth by Robert Charette. Again, I do not recommend this. I was really into the role-playing game Shadowrun and picked up one of the novels and was underwhelmed. Okay, so this is from the bag of books. I filled up one little section. There's 3 loose books here. I'm probably going to organize these a little bit more and maybe remove some of the books that I'm not a huge fan of and move on. But we have, oh boy, this may take a while. We have this box of books, so let's crack into this one. Right up, I see an Anne Rice book, Taltos. Rest in peace, Anne Rice. I was a huge fan of the Lestat series, even more so the Witching Hour series with the Mayfair Witches. Both series are really, really fantastic. I wasn't a big fan of those Anne Rice books that weren't in this series. In fact, I stopped reading the Lestat probably after the Tales of the Body Thief. But Taltos is part of the Witching Hour series. Oh my, if you like gothic horror, you will love the Witches of Mayfair. Next up, we have Fool's Fate by Robin Hobb. I'll say no more. This is part of the Elderling universe, and Robin Hobb is one of my favorite authors, and I cannot recommend enough her Elderling series novels. Okay, I'm embarrassed to say I have another Shadowrun book. Let's just set this down and say no more. We have Stone of Tears, Terry Goodkin. If you're looking for thick, epic fantasies, these novels, Sword of Truth novels, may be exactly what you're looking for. I kind of gave up on Terry Goodkin, but I got pretty far into the series. They just were a little repetitive to me. Next we have Christine Catherine Rusch, The Fae. This is part of a series. I think I've mentioned it before. Highly recommend. Next we have Starman by Sarah Douglas. I mentioned Sarah Douglas before. This is the Wayfarer Redemption series, and oh, I love this series so much. Maybe not as much as the Troy Game series, but if you're looking for some unique fantasy, check out Sarah Douglas. Next we have Ice Mage by Julia Gray. I'm afraid I don't remember anything about this, but it has a cool cover. Next we have a Andre Nort and Mercedes Lackey collaboration, The Elvenbane. Don't remember it. Mercedes Lackey does a lot of collaborations, especially with up-and-coming authors. Andre Norton, of course, is not up-and-coming, but is a well-established author. But again, another cool cover. Oh, A Fire Upon the Deep by Werner Vinge. I recommend this book frequently to people into science fiction because I think this is a great science fiction novel. Fantastic alien species, really unique concepts. If you're into science fiction, you have to check out A Fire Upon the Deep. Werner Vinge is also used to be married to Joan Vinge, who wrote another great novel, The Snow Queen. Next we have, another Sean Russell book. I guess it goes with this series. Again, I don't remember it, but I got the series, so I must have liked it. Next we have, The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan, Wheel of Time. If you don't know what the Wheel of Time is, I can't help you. I just can't help you. Here is Hit or Myth by Robert Asprin. These are humorous, funny fantasy novels, and I've read quite a few of these, and there's quite a few of them out. They're certainly not deep, they're certainly quick reads, but if you're looking for funny fantasy, check out the Myth Adventure series. And we have Dragonflight by Anne McCaffrey, classic science fiction. I've talked about this several times, and it is part of the Dragon Riders of Pern series. I actually think you could skip the first two and just go straight to the White Dragon, but it's up to you. Dragonflight and the other sequel are the earlier stories that I believe were submitted to some of the pulp magazines. The White Dragon was written as a novel, which I think is superior, but this gives you an introduction to the world of Pern. We have Paula Volsky, The Wolf of Winter. I don't remember this. except I'm pretty sure I like this quite a bit. I believe it's a series. I'm not sure. But whatever happened to Paula Volsky? Now we have To the Stars by Harry Harrison. He's the author of Stainless Steel Rat, classic science fiction, and he's a fun author to read. He's one of the older authors. This is probably, in the 70s, 80s, maybe. But check him out. We have, this must have been a gift. Fairy Tales, A Treasury of Gay Jokes by Glenn Turner. Someone must have given this to me. But do you want a joke? What do you do in case of fallout? Put it back in and take shorter strokes. We have something called Slow Funeral by Rebecca Orr. I don't remember anything about this at all. There are some sort of runes on the back of the cover. I don't remember this at all. Sorry. If you know, let me know in the comments. We have Mary Stewart, Thornhold. Mary Stewart is, of course, known for her Arthurian novels, but I guess she's done other things. I don't remember this. I probably just picked it up just based on her name. We have an Orson Scott Card, Elven Journeyman. I've spoken enough about Orson Scott Card before. Good writer, not a great person. We have Tad Williams' Otherland. I think this series has popped up in other of my unboxings. Tad Williams is known as an epic fantasy writer, but this is his foray into science fiction, specifically virtual reality. And it's quite good, although quite long. Oh, C.S. Friedman's Crown of Shadows, part of the Coldfire trilogy. I really like this author. I don't really hear much about her, but she does really fantastic sort of fantasy, but bordering on science fiction, or vice versa. But check it out if you like sort of dark vampire type stories. We have an H.P. Lovecraft, The Dream Quest of the Unknown Kadath. I think this is one of his longest works. Usually he's known for his shorter fiction. This is actually a compilation of 3 stories: The Dream Quest of the Unknown Kadath, The Silver Key, and Through the Gates of the Silver Key. I believe these are all linked somehow. I'll have to be honest with you. I like novels inspired by Lovecraft more than Lovecraft's own work, but he is such an important author in terms of creating the cosmic horror genre. We have Divine Intervention by Ken Wharton. Again, this is a novel I don't remember reading. I don't remember anything about it. I don't know the author, but I must have read this novel. Did not leave an impression. Here we have, it's a Rick Riordan, Battle of the Labyrinth, which is a Percy Jackson novel, and I did read the entire, Percy Jackson and the Olympians series. This is book 4. We have a Stephen King Gunslinger. I really like the Dark Tower series. It's more fantasy than horror, I think, but I was not disappointed, although I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. We have The Summer Tree by Guy Gabriel Kay. This is one of the most literary fantasy authors ever. The prose is beyond. And if you're interested in sort of literary science or fantasy, check out Guy Gabriel Kay. Love his writing so much. This is book 1 of the Fiona Barr Tapestry. Oh, I'm embarrassed. I must have liked these Shadowrun books, Never Trust an Elf, but I do not recommend them. I mean, I got 3 of them, but and they're all from different authors. I just think I was obsessed with Shadowrun probably in the mid 90s, and just got everything Shadowrun, but no, I don't recommend these books. Here's another Guy Gavriel Kay, Sailing to Sarentum, the Sarentine Mosaic. Just pick up a Guy Gavriel Kay book. At least one book. Just check out one. See what you think. We have Jack Chalker, Echoes of the Will of Souls. He's a very prolific author. He was most active in the 70s and 80s. I think he passed away at a young age, unfortunately, but I just gobbled up his books. They're really good science fiction. We have a Hitchhiker's Guide, or The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Everyone should have a copy. Everyone should have read it at least once. Hilarious science fiction satire. Here we have The Godmother by Elizabeth Ann Scarborough. She's also a well-known author, or used to be fairly well-known. I haven't heard much of her recently, but I love this cover. I love this woman that kind of looks like me with a cat. We have another Jack L. Chalker book. Oh my God, you are not going to believe this. You are going to flip out. I have a signed Terry Pratchett novel. Again, Stacy's Bookstore would have authors come in and they would sign a bunch of books and then put them on the shelf. And I apparently got a Terry Pratchett book. And if you're interested in looking up his signature, I wish I took better care of this book. Terry Pratchett signed copy. There is his signature. What a find! What a find! Of course, this is a Discworld novel. This is The Fifth Elephant. And as you know, there are 4 elephants in Discworld carrying the Discworld, so the 5th elephant must be pretty darn important. Or not. Here we have a Piers Anthony, Shade of the Tree. I got burnt out on Piers Anthony, and I read a novel called The Bio of the Space Tyrant, which really put me off of his writing forever. But this is interesting because it doesn't look like a Xanth novel or any of his normal fantasy novels. I don't remember it, but it's interesting that it's a different type of novel or genre than he's known for. The Court of the Air by Stephen Hunt. It's really a very attractive cover. It looks very literary. I don't remember anything about it. Not a thing. Here we have another Margaret Weiss novel of the Star of the Guardians. This is A Lost King. It must have been highly inspired by Star Wars, because we have lightsabers, as I said, Lost King, Chosen One, so you connect the dots. Here we have Keeper of the Keys by Janny Wirtz. Janny Wirtz collaborated with Raymond Feist on some of his Rift War novels, probably the best written of the Rift War novels, the Empire series where they travel through the Rift and we see life on the other side. But I like her writing a lot. Okay, there's only 3 books left. We have Crom by Kenneth C. Flynn. A novel of dark fantasy. I don't remember this. I do not remember this. Okay, just give me the back cover. It looks like sort of an Irish fantasy. I wish I remembered it, but I don't. We have The Magic Engineer, a recluse novel by Ali Modisett Jr. I highly recommend at least the first 3 novels in this series: Magical Recluse, Towers of Sunset, magic engineer. After that, they can get a little bit repetitive. But what's interesting about this is rather than good versus evil, it is order versus chaos. And how the magic system sort of revolves around that duality. Fascinating. Well written. A lot of fun. Okay, we are finishing up with a classic. Robert A. Heinlein, Podkayne of Mars. This is one of his juvenile science fiction novels, and the main character is a young woman, or young girl. Old girl, young woman? I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, Podkayne of Mars, one of my favorite of his juvenile series. It, of course, takes place in Heinlein's universe, where almost all of his novels sort of somehow fit into. And it's colonists of Mars taking a visit to Venus. So in this section here, from here forward, are all the books we unboxed today. If you're interested in more unboxing videos, please let me know down in the comments below. While you're there, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you want to see another unboxing video, you can see one right here. Until we meet again, may all the books you read be blessed.